Hello to everyone, this is Vishal and again we are new session of the day that is related to the view model. That means basically we can say that is the origin of the view model in the JetPack compose. So in my previous session, if you learned that on the last video we've discussed that how we can achieve a simple session or state with that, and how what's the work of your mutable and remember, and how you can when you rotate the screens, and then how you can use it the savable. So there's so many things be there, but the basic functionalities under that video. So now we have to go with the view model, that is called your origin of that. And if you know, if you want to know more about that the view models, you can learn from my previous session that already in my videos. So that is your uh, MVVM approaches, what is the view model, and lot of things be there as in a Kotlin and as in a Java. So both ways you can work, but the basic understanding related to your MVVM you can learn from there also. So today I'm not going with the more depth, but we will describe you the view model little, and then we will describe the states with the view model, how it start and how we can use. And there are so many ways to work with the view model under the Jetpack also. So we'll check all ways how we can work with the view model. But the basic functionality that is today we have to learn that what is the origin as in a Jetpack view model, and what is the use as in a state of this view model, and how we can pass those values. Whatever we have done on my previous session, that is we have to learn here. And also thank you so much watching the videos, and whatever be your comments, I will create more videos on that. And also parallelly we are going with the Kotlin sessions, we are going with the Flutter sessions also. So there also we are learning the basic functionalities of the Flutter also, and differences between your Jetpack and Flutter. So almost many things be same, but there we are working with as enough widgets, and here we are working with as a native. So that means there we can work with the browsers also. So many things be there, but the idea of working with the same. So we'll describe you in here Jetpack also and the Flutter also, so you can watch both the videos be there. So we'll start it today, that is the view model. So as we know that what is the view model we are using. So view model, that is a simple, we can say a business logic or screen level stakeholder, as we are holding our values as we described in my last session, that is the states, and remember we are using from there. And then those values when need to pass it to your APIs or your DB site, so we need to hold those. So it exposes the state to the UI and encapsulated related business logic. So here we can say that that layer in which we are working with the business logic, and its principal advantage is that the cache state and persisted simple. So that means you can store those values and then you can pass it there. Wherever we need it, we can use it. Simple. So this means that your UI doesn't have to fetch again data again when navigating between the activities. So that means if you go with the rotation of the screens, and if you lost the values, or you can say that if you are doing with the screen, and then in very old ways we are passing the values in your UI, and there we can do everything be there under the main activity, all the programs will be there, but that was the wrong approaches. So we have to go with your view model. We are doing all the functionality under the view model, just we are taking the inputs and showing the outputs on your view. And whatever we needed, any calculation, anything with that, or data related things, we are doing with the view model. And the other is your we are calling the repositories, and those repositories you are calling with your APIs call, and many things be there, retrofit calls be there. So you can fetch the data, you can pass the data. So there lot of things here. There'll be the description already in my previous session related to the MVVM. You learned from there, and their data binding also. So these all we are working with the Jetpack here. So how we can use these things? So and also we can say that doing the destroy the data if you don't store it using the saving instant state packaging. So ViewModel provides a convenient API for data persistence. Simple. So if we go with your states with the view model, so we can say that the view model holds the exposes the states the UI consumes, and the UI state is the application data transformed by the view model, and the UI notify the view model of the user events, and the view model handles the user actions and updates the state. So many things you can learn it from your the JetPack site there later to your Android. So these all points be there, and just simple say that whenever we work with the state, so how we can do this. So let us start it how we can create a view model class and how we can pass those data be like the as similar way as we have done last time in my session previous session. Okay, so let us start in Android Studio. Okay, so let us start in Android Studio and we take a look what we have done last time. We just create a simple composable, and from that to the view model how we can do that. Okay, so composable is your simple JetPack functionality. So here we can go for your fun, and under that fun I am creating the state test one function. And if we go with very simple, so what we needed at least a where and remember sorry, where I'm giving the name, and we have to remember, so that means by remember, and here what we have to pass, we have to pass that mutable. So there are a lot of things there, but we have to go for the state of, we will discuss it, the map, set, list, and many things. So as I told you on my last video, we'll discuss one by one. Sometimes it give you the red error because of we have to import two more files, two more packages be there, that is your get and set. Okay, so that means you go for the alt enter two times be there sometimes, so you can go for the set value and also the get values for this. Okay, so these be the required things, and this is the simple. And one more thing I needed, that is as we need a outline text, and also we have to discuss with the text. So what we need, we just go with the column. So I'm just creating the one column here, and under that column I need to describe one modifier, and that is the modifier. I'm going with the modifier with the padding, and that is your padding with your 8-point dp. Okay, so once it's done, then we have to go with your this thing. I'm just putting it here. Okay, under the column, and under that column we have to go with your outline. Yeah, outline text field. Okay, so these values I am passing here name, and on value change what we have to do, you just call it as name it. Okay, so here we are passing these values b, and then it can take those values b as in a runtime. Okay, so that means it can get or set the values as I already described in my previous sessions. Or if you go with any label, so we have to go with your label here. Yeah, so here label, we go for again the curly bracket, and then we have to pass that some label text we here, and I just need it enter name. I'm not doing any decoration at this time. Okay, so if we just check this functionality be on your preview, so check it and just wait for that build. Sometimes it needs a refreshment. And there are a lot of updates becoming related to the preview now in the JetPack. We'll discuss also in some other session. Okay, so here it is, enter name. So if you're passing the name and we are checking with those values as in a state, and we pass those values be under the tag. So what happened, you can see that this is your high, because, and then I'm just giving that dollar name. So this is or we can say that hello. Yeah, so this is a simple text with your outline text field. So whatever we are doing entering here, that means it comes with you. Okay, and I will this one. Okay, so if you want to the padding here also better, we can do that. So just for, so this is your modifier, and modifier, again it is 8 dp. Okay, so yeah, better. So whatever we doing entry here, it comes be here, that is called your simple text session. And what happened that as we are remembering the values under the as in the name, we are passing this name, and on value change whatever be the value be here, that means it can set or get and then pass it here. So that we have done, but and I already describe you when the screen be rotates, so what we can do, and already describe you if we are passing any values from as in a parameter. So what we do, so first we are passing these values as in a parameter and then use it here with the function, and those function we have to call with your view model. That is the strategy we have to do, because of last time we have done just simple savable. Now we have to create one view model for this. Okay, so let's see on in the second step what happened. So on second step, if you want to shift this code with the main call, it means somewhere sometimes what happened that as we discussed on the last time, we have to take the name, we have to take the password or likewise that. So we needed separate calls for that. So for we want to pass with the parameters dot function or like this. So better we can create this as enough function value or as enough passing parameters. Okay. So for now what I am doing, I am making the name as a string, and one function I am creating on name change. Okay, so under that name change, what happen, I am just making as a string call with your unit. So if you don't know about this, so I will describe you or put the command, so I will describe more about that. Okay, so these two values be here, and I'm just shifting this in the main call. I'm making one more composable, and this is called your fun. Paste it here. Okay, and here this is the name, and on value change I'm not doing anything with this, just remove it, and we are call on name change directly. So that means whatever be the those values we change here, it comes here. So those values where we have to change, we have to go with our main call and doing the same activity whatever we are doing here. Okay, so that means we have to just simply call this function here, and I'm passing that name, and here on name change It's very easy. We can call it as the same thing we are doing here, whatever we have done there, okay, with a name it. So that means those values we are calling with the main call and then passing with the name, and whatever be there it comes here. What is the issue with this? Okay, do not call this. Okay, so we have to call the main call. It's very simple. So on third step, what the use of view model and how we can use it is as a main call. So that is the one and top point here as in today's session. Okay, so let's see what we can do with that. Okay, for view model, what we have to do for the compose. So here you have to go for your project structure, and you can directly build it there, but just describe you, and then here you can add the if you want to search any new module be here. So this is the basic things you have to just search it for the new module creations, and if you want to search the dependency, so you can go for the library dependencies be here. Okay, so I am using the view model compose. We'll see if we getting the, or you can search it direct view model also. Wait, I think, yeah. So here you can see that there are a lot of models be there. So it's showing the compose, and it's showing compose Android, directly compose. Okay, so the one thing, just we have to go for the desktop. We have Android. We have just, I'm taking the simple compose with the 2.8.4 dependency. Okay, you can go with the implementation with this and say that apply and okay. So once it's done, we'll see we have to create one new model class for this, and then we can call that main call be here with the view models. Okay, so let's see how we can implement it. Whatever we are using the dependency, that is required for some other approach, but here I'm using the simple view model, and then we have to call that dependency. Okay, so here I am making the view model for the state. So that is the origin. So what is the origin that I am talking about? It is a class you have to create, and you have to create a state view model, and this view model is your view model, and I am passing it here. And here one thing that is required, that is the important thing, which is a private variable we need it. So private val, because of it can change, and here it is mutable live data, and that is a kind of a string, and that is the mutable live data. That's very simple. Okay, so here what we needed to create the live data that is passing with that. So if you do not know the difference between the live data and mutable live data, you watch my previous session. So here this is the name I'm using here, and that name approached with your live data, and that is a kind of a string, and that is string is your underscore name. Okay, so this is called a origin. Origin means this name, whatever we are using under the state, so we can hide these things, and that it replaced by our live data name. So that means state view model. So whatever be the changes we will do, it comes here. So this is called the origin, means state to view model we are using. Okay, so here it is the live data, and then now the other thing is that we have to create that function that is called on name change. So on name change, we have to go with your function name, that is I'm using the fun under this class on name change, and this name change, what we required the name one underscore, sorry, this colon as in a string, and this is the simple function we are using. So that is most important part of doing this. And here if we checking that name updating values, so what it required the name one, means whatever be the name updated during the function call, it will be replaced by that. That is very simple. That means if your screen comes and if you're doing anything with that, the name, I mean password you are taking, if you are taking the login name, so whatever be the change updated every time, it comes on the name change. So that means it replaces with their name change and name. So that is called your origin. So here no need of these things to do that. Okay. So how we can call this to be here? So that we'll check. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let's see how we can call this view model, state view model here. So first we have to comment that old code, whatever we have done on our last session, and in this session I describe you the parameterized values. And here what to do, you just call your state view model. Okay, so that means, yeah, and that is equals to, that means whenever we call this state view model, it means we have to call our JetPack view model. Okay, so it always as in a v is in the small, and that is the view model class. So no need of this model class, we'll describe you model class some other day, and that is a very simple view model we have to do. And here what to do, that is the view model, we have to pass it here. And for this what we required one more value that we need to pass from the view model to here. So for this I'm using the whale name again. I'm using the same parameter name so you can understand the things perfectly. So here this is the name is showing, that is by, and we are using the state view model, and that view model is as a, I'm calling the name. You can see that name, and the also there we have a function. Okay, so here it is the name, and dot, one more thing that is we required, that it is not default they are putting, this is called your observe as a state. Okay, and this is the example given by the Android, and many people do not understand what it exactly it is. So if you see this, it's showing you that add dependency composable run type, you can update it. Okay, so we have to update this. I just using the build Gradle and then update this observe as a state. That is most important part. We'll see once it's configured. State it is here, and I'm using the initialize parameter as a blank string. So it is observe as state we are passing. So that means this area we have to cover with our state view model. Okay, so that means we are calling this view model be here like. And once this names be done, then we have to go with your function, how the function calls. So for this we are calling the state test. So we are calling this state test, and here I am giving that name comma on name change. So that means on name change be the same here, and on name change what we are using the state view model, and that view model on doing with your on name change, and that name change it whatever we have done, that is it. So whatever we are using, any changes in your state or any will anything be there, so you can call it. So that means there nothing required with this. So it's a very simple state test, and you can pass those values with your view model. You can just try it, or just check that if it works, and then if any issue you can just call me. So whenever you call this, and then just here wait, it's some issue. Okay, so here in your main functionality, you just call it the main call. Okay, nothing you have to pass, you just call it as a simple, because of it is a default nullable. So that means whenever you call any view model and anything be there, you just call it in very simple approach. So what we have done, you just call with the name values parameterized. If you are using the without view model, we are using this thing, that is the old approach. But if you are using the view model, that is an important whenever you move the login and anything, so you can call it here. So from this we have to work with. On my next session we are doing the login. Okay, so thank you so much for the day.